All right. So what are we talking about today? Not the ZV-10, right? Let's put that down. So trying out lighting situations. Right now, my metering is 2.0, right? I typically don't do this when I'm doing putting my exposure settings to, or my metering to multi, but I've done 1.7 in multi and it just doesn't pop out well. And that, you know what, it makes sense to me now because I think to myself, well, if we're doing multi and it's going to meter from all areas of the screen, right, then the only way we can confirm 110% that the footage is going to come out as exposed properly as possible is making sure that the entirety of the screen is exposed properly, right? Which having it at 2.0 makes that 100% like no mistakes likely, right? And I haven't tested it as kind of a test, admittedly. I would say just go to about the point where it's going to start peaking your exposure, and then just drop it down a stop, you know? And yeah, and I'm currently at volume 4 on my microphone. I'm also testing that as we speak, but as I'm looking at the playback, it looks like it's peaking. It looks like it. No, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look in post, but nevertheless, totally would suggest just to 2.0 across the board when you're filming SLOG3. Let me talk about some woes involved with FX30's SLOG3, right? If you're going to film SLOG3, just make sure that you're hotkeying your ISO level, right? Set your aperture manually to like whatever the highest setting is. I find a lot of times when I'm walking into environments where we have changing lights, if you set aperture to be automatic, it's gonna snap. It's gonna snap, which doesn't look good in post. And granted, if you're in 60 frames, you can probably cut the snaps without having any issues, but it's gonna skip. It's not gonna look good. Anyways, especially if you're slowing it down. Oh my god. But yeah, so I definitely suggest, but just putting the native ISO on on a hotkey, put your metering to 2.0, then native ISO once again on FX30 for those of you who don't know, that's 800 to 25,000. I mean 2,500, right? So 2,500, right? Which is super low. I didn't realize when I first bought the camera that was the truth of the matter. It's not extremely low, but if you're trying to do anything on the low light side, like even in the shadow, even in there's like something like that, SLOG3 is just not going to be something you should choose. Just do S Cinetone. Most clients don't even know the difference. And you're gonna save so much time in post. It's just the truth of the matter. I mean, the last thing you want is get underexposed SLOG3, and then your clients are looking at it like, dude, I could have shot this shit better on my iPhone, which it hella feels like that. I mean, granted, I've never had a client tell me that, but I can definitely tell you I feel that way because I know that if I ran it with an iPhone in a dark area, my iPhone would actually handle pretty damn well. I'm writing with the iPhone 14, but I'd never use that on a client shoot. I've never even picked up even though I have the DJI iPhone recording thing, the gimbal, right? iPhone gimbal. I almost never use it. Especially since I picked up the ZV-10, I'm like, it's just so much better. And I don't really care for the image stabilization. So, and actually image stabilization on that ZV-10 is pretty good. I don't know if you guys want a whole video on the ZV-10, I'll talk about that. But, I think I did a slight one in my last video. So, yeah. So what else? I don't change my shutter speed. I mean, unless I just match it with whatever. I know some people are like, hey, drop your shutter speed, and that's how you can get, better conditions in low light on your FX30, but it's just not worth it. If you're going to run and gun with SLOG3 on your FX30, be in a lighted area. Hotkey your native ISO, manual your aperture. That's it, right? if you're in a low light, don't even attempt it. Don't even attempt it. It's not worth it. Okay. I spent so many hours looking up online. Oh, how do you run and gun with SLOG3? How do you run and gun with SLOG3 on FX30? Right? Guys, it just doesn't work, because if you're running gunning, you know as much as I do that when we're running and gunning, there is so many things. Like your lighting can change like that. You know, someone gets in front of the sun at the angle or whatever. You know, there's so many situations, right? And you don't want your aperture snapping. I don't know if that even is the term, but that's what I call it. You know, essentially your aperture trying to overcompensate at a very quick speed at changing lighting situations, which essentially makes it flash on your screen. It's not great. Nevertheless, that's the reason why you'd pick up an FX3. If you're gonna run a gun, and that's what you're dedicating your whole experience of, you know, working in the industry, then that's why you get an FX3 in my eyes, right? But if you're going to be in lighted areas, you're going to be doing interviews, you're going to be filming in like office buildings, etc., like things where there's a lot of light, or you're going to bring your own external lights like I have here, which I'm currently testing, as I made a mention of, then I would totally suggest that. What else? Yeah, but it's not a run and gun unless you're outside. I think if you're doing event shoots and you're outside, that's great. But if you go under a tent, guys, just switch to the S-Anytone. Just don't even, I would say if there's even anything, like you're going inside a building, anything like that, it's just not worth it. Anyways, and that, because you know what, actually, just to make another mention, their SLOG3 anxiety is totally real. I think somebody said that online the other day. I'm like, dude, that's like, oh my God, so accurate. Yeah. So anyways, I think that's about it. That's as much as for my rant. FX30, my new FX30 is coming in. I just got it. Excuse me, I just ordered it. Should be getting it tonight. I'll probably put a shot of it when I get there. Once I get it. But that's the vibe. That's the vibe. I like my FX30. It's great. I'm just going to be using the B cam primarily for, like, you know, shoots where I'm doing interviews like this, but I don't have it, like I said. Otherwise, you guys would see this like an angle shot, but that's about the energy I'm on, you know. FX30, nobody got that money, dude. Maybe if I went back and dropped entirely of whatever I had money for that, as far as for my camera expenses, I would have bought it, but I didn't know the severity of the difference. I mean, you're getting 2,500, right, to 12,800 at a minimum native ISO, and then some ridiculous number or other. I think it's like, what, 32,000 ISO is the other one. Like, no, yeah, 32 is like, that's crazy. Like, you're getting so much efficiency in low light, like, God. Anyways, thank you guys for checking in, seeing what's up. Appreciate you. Later.